Sunset City, a place with infested mutant humans that want nothing more than to eat your flesh, and still a safer work environment than any Activision Blizzard studio. Let's finish this game up, shall we? Yes, do believe it, this is the end of Sunset Overdrive. It's been a short and sweet ride like my sex life, and both, coincidentally, ended with me crying. If you missed the first 2 episodes, then stop procrastinating and go watch them. I know you have nothing better to do with your time. People often ask me, how do you grow as a small YouTuber? I think insulting your viewers is key. After a quick morning meeting with Floyd about whether selling amps to kids is a morally indecent business decision, I get a call from Iggy asking if I can attend the court. In a time like the apocalypse, I sure am grateful to have sane, mentally stable friends like these live action role players. Obviously I'm kidding, I'm pretty sure in the requirements to become a live action role player, you have to be a sex offender in at least 2 different countries. So while I am legally qualified to join them, it's just personally not my vibe. Iggy has to claim back his crown from some scabs that took them, and then promises me we can build that boat and escape the city. To take on the scabs, we first need a figurehead. Lawrence the leper was sent out to grab one of them, but he hasn't been seen for a while. So I nip out to go find him, and when I do, he lets me know he doesn't actually have leprosy. Iggy just nicknamed him that because he gave his sister crabs. That's fair enough though, as I don't imagine Iggy actually has any idea what an STD is. To be honest, I don't even know if crabs is classified as an STD, but I'm not googling that as I'm sure my girlfriend would have quite a few questions. Crabs, however, proves to be the least of old matey's worries though, as he gets beheaded like he was the 2nd or 4th wife of Henry VIII. A new enemy type called muggers are introduced, and they're more erratic than a bi-curious teen. However, much like a bi-curious teen, we can solve all their problems with a 30-day program at the Jesus Loves You As Long As You're Straight Christian camp, or more simply, a revolver to the head. I don't have the time for Christian camp right now, so I choose the revolver option and claim the figurehead back. It's not every day you get to wear a Triceratops head, so I whack that bad boy on. And now look, in the last video I said I was worried about my dude's mental state and how he would slip back into society. But now, there truly is no hope. Shooting minorities with no justifiable reason is what cops do on a daily basis, so I wasn't too worried about that part. But charging at people with a Triceratops head, puncturing their lungs and shutting down all vital organs while laughing about it, is where I think we may have crossed a line. So at this point, even if we do get this boat and make it out of the city, there's going to be so much mental baggage that I'm not even sure it's worth it. With the figurehead returned to Iggy, it was time to take back the crown and make Iggy feel validated like I do when you like and subscribe. God, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. I felt disgusting saying that. We go for the balls deep approach and just start shooting, no questions asked. I've learned that trying to reason with others in Sunset Overdrive is like an orphan threatening to tell their parents. This is the classic jock versus nerd war, except instead of swirlies, the jocks have cannonballs, and instead of their virginities, the nerds have a battering ram. And still their virginities, I guess. We break through defense after defense until we get through the final one and get ready for a full-on assault, when Iggy just gets shot straight in the chest. The absolute unit just shakes it off though and decides it's actually time to start using guns. Nerd resorting to guns and using it to take out all his anger. America in a nutshell. All this ruckus outside has brought the attention of a special someone. With an average of 3.7 roofies a party, a car worth over $500,000, a penis length shorter than 3 inches, and parents that haven't shown him love since the age of 6, I give you King Jock. Despite those rather impressive stats, King Jock is not the smartest of the bunch, as he gets on a roller coaster thinking he can escape me. Little does he know it just goes around in circles with the occasional aggressive incline, so the pattern is easier to read than Michael J. Fox's handwriting. There's also these explosive canisters on the back of the coaster, which seems like a huge architectural design flaw, but I've also never built a roller coaster, so who knows. To finish off the big boy, I decide to whack on the Triceratops head and just ram the coaster head first, exploding him into bite-sized pieces that they'd probably sell on the Chinese street food market. It's extremely wholesome. We break out into song, celebrate Iggy's crowning, while hundreds of dead bodies lay around us with blood on our hands. I've never felt more like a rich white dude in my entire life. Okay, so Iggy did actually keep his promise and the boat is now finally built. Wow. It looks like a piece of shit. And Wendy, the only one who I thought was not severely affected by some sort of childhood trauma in this group, has now dressed up as a pirate just to drive the boat out of here. She really went from bangable to only if I was drunk and she agreed to put a finger in my bum on the women tier list. I'm joking, I don't actually have a women tier list. That would be objectifying and sexist, and I'm only one of those things. The boat is surprisingly fuel efficient as it's powered by trash, aka external hard drives full of Sniper Wolf's content. It's not often I criticize Sunset, but good god this quest was boring. I know the boat is supposed to be dodgier than unprotected sex with a Haitian dude, but it crawls through the water slower than a paraplegic who's fallen out of their wheelchair. I'll do you guys a favour and skip forward to the point where we do actually escape Sunset City. Through the invisible wall, and out to freedom we go. That was until Sam gives us a call and lets us know Fizzco is destroying all evidence of the outbreak and killing everyone. Being the virtuous guy I am, I can't just leave them all to die, so we go back. I mean, I didn't technically ask them if they wanted a seat on the boat when there's more than enough space, so yeah, I'm not really that great of a guy, but life's all about balance. Like, yeah, heroin might be bad for you, but if you share it with the homeless guy who you had to give a handy in the first place to get it off, you're morally correct in some way. First, I go to save Troop Prosciutto, as let's be honest, what's Brill Cream going to do to protect them? I then move on to help out Sam and his rich friends, and let me tell you, this is the most stressed I've seen rich people look since old matey Epstein got arrested. It really felt like now it was time to take the fight to Fizzco rather than just waiting on them. Sometimes you've got to grab life by the balls and stop waiting around. That girl you like isn't just going to magically turn around and start talking to you one day. You've got to climb through her window and slip into her bed one night if you ever want a chance to date her. Take that from someone who's done exactly that. Although, side note, this may be important, the girl I did it with was blind and deaf, so she may have just thought I was like her dad or something, which makes the hand job pretty questionable now I think about it. Sam takes a look at Fizzco HQ cams and notices the only activity there recently was a group of face paint wearing cheerleaders. So naturally I go check it out to see what their business is. Turns out their business is musically coordinated beatdowns where they spell out their name. Damn. That was kinda hot. I wake up in a hospital bed surrounded by children, and oh boy, Jimmy Savile's ghost must be close. This Hispanic chick has a word with me, and wow, I've got to praise Insomniac here. I have never seen a Hispanic woman portrayed as a tightly strung, slightly loose cannon, batshit crazy type. This is really unique racial profiling. Don't ask me how, but I got the feeling I wasn't on these women's good side, so I'd have to change that. What's the key to a Hispanic woman's heart, you ask? A United States visa. However, I do not have that, so I'll just have to go for the next best thing, making their children happy. They all have cancer or some shit along those lines, basically they're very ill. So what does a terminally ill child need? Well, nothing, because they're going to die soon, but I guess a sword would put a smile on their face. Everybody who's ever watched Super Dark Times knows how well allowing a child to have a sword will go. I'm sorry, that was a really niche joke, and probably about 0.6% of people watching understood that, so let me broaden the reach again with a more relatable joke. Women. As my audience is 97.5% male, I really hope that brought some of you back into the loop. I really go above and beyond for this sword, like I don't just visit my local comic book store and ask for a plastic replica of some sort of Game of Thrones one, I literally forged one from scratch. Obviously, because this is Sunset Overdrive, I forged the sword in a nuclear power plant, diving 80 feet in the air and smashing it with my hammer. So relatable. But okay, with the sword forged, it was now time for the last step, which was to make it suck the soul out of anything it kills. You know, standard issue stuff you give a 7-year-old. Alright, I've collected 99 souls and the bitch ain't one, so now let me return to the hospital. I show off what this baby is capable of, but have a small lapse in judgment and nearly take the gammy little child's head off. Safe to say I was once again knocked out, because Hispanic women are level-headed individuals who can always see reason and aren't at all emotionally charged. Right, one last try with this kid before I toe punt the little bastard into the river. My star sign is Cancer. He has cancer. Maybe we can find some common ground. He says to me he's never been to a rock concert before, and this deeply upsets me. Everyone, at least once in their lifetime, needs to experience nearly dying in a mosh pit. So now the objective is to form a rock band. In the apocalypse, this is slightly harder than just visiting an art college and asking to recruit anyone who is wearing a trench coat. Luckily though, I've made a fair few friends, and I know a handful of them can play instruments, because people who can play instruments will remind you every 5 minutes that they can play an instrument. I first go straight to Wendy, as she is a talented bass player. Ah yes, the bass player. AKA I have no talent but wanted to be in the band. Next up was the drummer, AKA I have no social skills and my arms can only move this fast because I fap at least 4 times a day. Kim put herself forward because it definitely wasn't going to be Brillcream representing the troupe. He could diving headbutt the drums, but that doesn't seem as efficient. Now all that was left was a frontman, and wow, would you look at that, a conveniently placed Rockfest poster. That's not me taking the piss, by the way, it's literally called that. And now I knew who could be my frontman, I just had to hope he was still alive and hadn't been, you know, eaten by the OD. Okay, Jesus Christ, he's alive, but he looks worse than my great-grandfather, and he died like 50 years ago. If there ever was a walking anti-heroin ad, this guy was it. Alright, now I've got a band together, it was time to enjoy the music and throw this kid into a mosh pit. Unfortunately, I may have forgot to unpause my recording and missed all the footage from the concert. So yeah, professional YouTuber here. It also turns out the kid just has strep throat and isn't at all terminally ill. He just lied to me. At this point, I was tempted to fly to Uganda, catch Ebola, and bring it back just to sneeze on the kid and give it to him. With the cleaning ladies on our side, with the Hispanic women now on our side, we actually had a chance at taking down Fizzco. This was it. We had to bring everyone together, including Brillcream. And again, I'm not really sure what he was going to add to this dynamic that was helpful in any way, shape or form. He's like the little brother of a girl you're trying to smash that won't leave you alone. At first he's cute, and you endorse him in hopes of coming off like a decent human being to the girl. However, after a while he begins to become a cockblock. Like, no, I don't want to play Minecraft with you on your Nintendo Switch, Austin. I'm trying to finger bang your sister, mate. We first begin with taking out countless Fizzco bots, but I don't think you want to see that, so let's cut right to the chase. I spot a giant bottle of overcharge just chilling on the rooftop, and if I can set it off, it will launch straight into Fizzco HQ. So that's exactly what I do. I don't know why I then ride it like I'm Daenerys invading King's Landing, that seems like a slight health concern. Boom, direct hit and the Fizzco HQ has sustained significant damage. However, I too have sustained damage, and not the kind your uncle gives you, I mean physical damage. Damage so bad that it actually kills my character, and that's the end of the game. Wow, okay, that's more disappointing than the end of Help Stepson, I'm stuck in the washing machine. Spoiler alert, he doesn't help her out of the washing machine, so it's just a waste of an entire 22 minutes. I'm kidding, the game doesn't actually end like that. We rewind time because video game, and would you look at that, this time I survive. And it sure is a good thing I did survive, because the Fizzco HQ turns into Doc Ock, growing some mechanical arms and starts wreaking havoc on the city. Little did Fizzco know that the arms were actually pretty detrimental, as I could just grind up those spicy little mamacitas. Yeah, I don't know what that was either. I think spending an extended amount of time with single Hispanic women is really beginning to rub off on me. The final boss battle here incorporates pretty much everything you've learned about the game, as you have to take down the building's main core, and it's pretty epic. With one last TNT Teddy, we take Fizzco down, Fizzco out, and the city is ours. A few explosions later, and we're all high-fiving, celebrating this hard-earned victory that was all down to me. And that was that. What a game. It still holds up so well in 2021, and I'm so glad that you guys joined me for this journey. It was amazing. I uploaded Sunset Overdrive purely because I love the game, not because I expected it to get views, but it just ended up becoming the most viewed thing on my entire channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this series as much as I did, and a big thank you as always to those of you who have clicked the join button and become a member of the channel. I hope to see you in whatever's to come next. You are all amazing, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. I just want to give a huge shout out to my motherload Voiy Bois and above, Gerardo Cruz, Björn van den Hatter, Charlie Waldock, Voiy is Gay, TheGamerTeg, and Zyfin Productions. Thank you guys for your support.